We have a verdict. We just don't know what it is yet. Hi, I'm Melba Pearson, also known as the Resident Legal Diva, and it is time for another Daily Diddy, bringing you daily updates from the P. Diddy trial until we get a verdict. So, the jury sent a note to the judge saying that they have a verdict on 4 of the 5 counts and that they have not been able to decide on the 5th. Now, the 5th count that they have not decided yet is the racketeering count, the biggest one. So, the judge was like, yeah, thanks for that, but 4 out of 5 doesn't work. We need a complete verdict. So we need an answer on each and every one of the charges. So please go back, deliberate, and come back when you have a decision. They sent a note back like, yo, dude, we tired. We going home. So they are going home for the day, and they will be back tomorrow to continue deliberations on this last charge. I think it's starting to lean towards guilty. I'll tell you what. So over the course of the deliberations, they've sent a number of notes to the judge to get more clarification. And they sent 2 notes having to do with the drug trafficking charge. And what was interesting is that during the time when the judge was charging the jury, kind of giving them those guidelines on how to deliberate, he was like, listen, first think about whether or not he's guilty of racketeering, then back into what would be the predicate charge. I actually think it should be the other way around, but be that as it may, whatever. But fact of the matter is, they kept sending notes asking about drug trafficking, which means they were looking very heavily at that as one of the predicate offenses. Also, the prosecution in their closing argument said, if you find that there were like 2 instances of drug trafficking, those 2 are enough to be predicate charges for RICO. So with them being so focused on that, I think they're getting close to guilty. Also, they asked a number of questions and asked for parts of the transcript to be read back, most importantly having to do with, number one of the instances in terms of Cassie's testimony around that horrible incident at the Intercontinental where we all saw that video, kind of like what led up to that. Also, another instance where Diddy got violent with her during a freak-off with one of the sex workers and that testimony around that. And lastly, testimony about a time that a freak-off occurred in Cannes. So all of that, like the fact that they're kind of focusing on those particular instances, tell me that they were using that to kind of figure out around the sex trafficking charges. I think, again, I always think the transportation for purposes of prostitution, that's a gimme. That's done and dusted. The question is sex trafficking. So I have a funny feeling based on their questions and what they wanted read back, it's gonna be guilty. We will see.